So Whippy, more of the same. Alright. I have a couple 100,000 brain cells I can waste without being as dumb as this still, so why not?
This is the reason why I'm not doing Damien Skyfire videos anymore.
Because you're scared of him. Because you got heat for what you said and now you're trying to act like you didn't say anything at all. Instead of either fucking off, apologizing, or owning up to it, you're immediately deciding to backtrack and backpedal the ever loving fuck out of it. But, from what everyone, instead of just going with what everyone knows, let's just hear your excuse.
The dude assassinated my character. His friend.
No, it's just the fact is that someone refuses to be talked down to by a Hunter Avalon sycophant who goes out of his way to defend every single stupid fucking hot take Hunter has. It's one thing to simply respect someone's points of view, it's another when you just ridiculously blow someone non-fucking stop to the point to where it seems like he could bust a nut and you'd be right there to catch it in your mouth.
Friends assassinated my character.
Okay, let me challenge that. What did anyone say about you that was ever a lie or was ever untrue without it being a joke or simply a barb at your expense? I legitimately challenge you to say one thing verbatim that people have said that was either not a joke or not just a jab at your expense that was untrue. Go on. Actually rebuttal that with something worth a damn. Instead of just saying, I don't have an answer, so I'm not going to address that. If you don't have one, then just admit that you don't have one, because then you're just lying.
Damien has Damien and his friends have called me every horrible name in the book.
Welcome to the internet. It's almost like if you make an ass out of yourself, people on the internet tend to remember.
Yes, I did call him names first.
Well, there you go. You just admitted to starting it. It's kind of weird that you can't lie by omission, so you just immediately admit that you started it, but the fact that you started it seems to not occur to you.
But I did try to walk away.
You tried to walk away only because you were getting heat for it. You didn't really care that what you did started a bunch of shit. You were mainly concerned with just getting away with it. And since you couldn't just get away with it, you just sat there and freaked out about it. That's legitimately the long and short of it. You start shit, find out it doesn't pan out well for you, and then immediately try to make an excuse as to why it's the other people being assholes and not you being a shithead for starting it.
He kept dragging me back into it.
Yes, because I'm sure he just like kicked down your door like the fucking police breaching during like a SWAT takedown. He just like used that big ass battering ram to smash down your front door. Then he dragged you to your computer and made you watch the video. And then he like behind the camera pointed a gun at your head and made you say stupid shit to the camera to try to assassinate his character by talking about the Violet situation for the umpteenth fucking time. I mean, even Violet said around the time you did that to shut the fuck up because they didn't care or want to be involved with the situation. You intentionally dragged someone into it who's publicly stated they didn't give a fuck about this or want to be involved in it. Shows how much you actually give a shit about what this person wants.
The dude has looked at my profile pictures.
It's kind of hard not to when you put them all over YouTube.
The only reason why I graduated at 21 is because I was in special ed.
No, you graduated at 21 because you were too fucking stupid to graduate with your graduating class. There are plenty of people I knew, myself included, who were in special education for like one or two classes, who excelled relatively well at everything else, with the exception of two classes or so. And we graduated with our graduating class. So I do not want to hear anything at all about whether or not special education automatically means 21-year graduation. That's a ridiculous premise and it's a false equivalence. Because you're trying to act like everyone that's in special education automatically falls under that category, and they do not. That sounds more like an insult to their intelligence.
There was one part that I did a video where I used Burn the Bible 666 as an example of why uh, I'm not the first one to be attacked. I,
Well, here's the thing. The reason the whole situation with Violet and Damien went down was because instead of talking to him in private about simply, like, hey, can you just private the video? My points of view have changed. These don't reflect my point of view now. Would you please take it down? Instead of just aggressively trying to flag them down. Like, that's the thing. When Monotypical was talking to him, they didn't just simply talk to him about, hey, can you just take this down because this doesn't represent what I think anymore. I don't think like this anymore. But the problem is they handled it in just a bad way because they aggressively went out of their way to try to get it taken down instead of talking to him about it like a normal person would when they just wanted like a quiet resolution to the issue. The reason people were on you about it is because you were actively lying about a situation to try to make this person look far worse than they would have if the whole situation was talked about in depth. I'm not the first ready to take. Well, welcome to the fucking internet, fuckface. Do you think everyone on the fucking internet gets along with every fucking Tom, Dick, and fuckface that walks into their fucking accounts screeching about fucking nothing? Maybe if you weren't such a brain dead, rabid fanboy for Avalon, you'd actually learn that not everyone's gonna agree with him and not everyone's gonna feel like wasting their time talking to someone who obviously isn't going to listen or who's just gonna punch down the whole time.
I did misrepresent it, and I did apologize to Monotypical.
Yeah, I'll apologize to Violet, but I won't apologize to Damo for trying to misrepresent the situation. More importantly, when you apologize to this person, they told you straight up to shut the fuck up and leave them the fuck out of the situation because they couldn't care less about it. I mean, even they told you to shut the fuck up because they didn't care about the situation. And you immediately went back to bringing them up again in this fucking video. Like, you should have apologized to the person who you were trying to misrepresent, not to the person who happened to be involved with it. Shows how your priorities go.
Damien has made three videos about me.
And yet, for some reason, instead of listening to what he's saying and why he's saying it, you continue to feed into the cycle by being a fucking idiot. And starting more shit.
Yes, I made a video where Damien is a pussy because he refused to go on Hunter Avalon's Discord and debate him. And there was this one video.
Well, here's the thing, no one has to debate anyone. A person is not obligated to be fucking blacklisted or fucking browbeaten for disagreeing with someone. That's all that would have happened. All that would have happened if he actually engaged Hunter in a debate, Hunter would have just proceeded to browbeat Damo and essentially tried to use his audience as a way to leverage Damo into thinking the same way or just being quiet. That's all it would do. That's all it would fucking do. Like, nothing would be accomplished. No point of contention would be reached because it wouldn't accomplish jack shit.
Where I was in a cape and a mask. I wasn't trying to be threatening. I was trying to get under his skin because the last video he made about me said I was a fever dream and I wasn't scaring anybody.
Well, you're not. You sounded like a really shitty flashback from a 1980s B-rated slasher film. That's really what it fucking sounded like. You sounded like the setup to one of those really shitty 1980s slasher movies. Because it was basically unnecessary, like, fucking drainage pipe echo sound effect. Like you were offering a kid a paper boat. For no fucking reason. The reason that you call yourself a clown now is more or less you trying to unironically establish that you are one. I mean, really. If you weren't trying to threaten someone, you wouldn't be trying to say, well, I'm gonna watch you. I'm gonna do, like, here's the thing. Like, when you say you're watching someone, it's designed to imply that you'll be monitoring their activities, so they'd better watch their P's and Q's. That's legitimately an implied threat. The fact that you're so fucking stupid, either you don't understand what you're saying, so you don't get it, so you don't perceive it as an implied threat, or you understand it, and you fully grasp what you said, but you need to lie so that it seems like you're not aware that what you're doing could be construed as a threat to people that aren't fucking stupid.
Damien claims that I'm hiding behind a neurological or alleged neurological problem. You do realize that autism is a wide spectrum. Each person is different.
But the fact is, you bring it up for no fucking reason, almost as if you're trying to make people think that you having that somehow makes you completely incapable of thought. Like, even in Damien's own comments, which I will link his video in the description of this once this is all done, you actually admit that using that as an excuse is not okay after I point out that, no, it's not maybe. You shouldn't use that as some sort of crutch whenever you get caught doing shit you're not supposed to. And the fact is, you even admit that it's what you're doing unintentionally because you're so fucking stupid you rat yourself out every other word.
The part where I said, y'all need to get laid,
Sounds awfully hypocritical coming from you, but proceed.
Damien thought I was talking about him. I was talking about not just him, but the rest of his group.
Again, how are you with the authority on getting laid when you look like the kind of person that even a prostitute wouldn't fuck? I mean, seriously, there could be some greasy Jabba the Hutt looking fuck with 5 cents, and there could be you, as you are now, sitting on a suitcase full of $100 bills, and the hooker would immediately jump on the dude with the nickel just to avoid being in your very presence.
Anthony Hunter is just as bad, if not worse, when it comes to Damien. Anthony Hunter is a bully.
Let me get this straight. You're allowed to talk shit to people's friends. You're allowed to insult their friends. You're allowed to try to go after their friends about stupid shit that's none of your fucking business. But when people tell you to shut the fuck up because you say shit you don't understand and because you're too fucking stupid to listen to what anyone says and take it seriously, it's bullying. Like, the weird part is it's a catch-22 when it comes to responding to anything that you fucking say. Because if people respond to you and criticize you and point out the fact that you're a lying cunt, you call them a bully. But when people don't respond to you, you call them a pussy. So there's really no way to respond where the person looks good, because it's always a matter of you trying to preserve your ego in terms of how you perceive yourself. That's all it is. It's basically just you blowing yourself and trying to pretend that you come off as sophisticated or intelligent. You don't. You come off like a whiny cunt.
Like I said, not everything Damien says is true.
Okay, name one thing that he said that's untrue. Name one thing he said that was a joke that's not true. I mean it. Actually rebuttal that with something that actually makes sense instead of talking in fucking circles.
Him and his friends are hypocrites.
Hypocrite how?
Yes, I was in the wrong. Most of the time.
All of the time. Because all of it was you. Not a single fucking person instigated shit with you. In fact, it seemed to be you aggressively going out of your way to talk shit about other people to the point to where they responded to you. Aside from people like myself making a couple trolling jabs at you here and there.
But Damien and his friends are hypocrites.
Are you actually going to explain why, or are you just going to keep throwing that word out there like you're passing out a joint at a circle meeting?
And this is going to be the last video about Damien Skyfire. The only reason why I'm making this video is to clear things up.
What is there to clear up? You started a bunch of shit, then when it got too bad, you immediately like threw yourself on your back with your arms in front of you, crying wolf, like people were just breaking into your house.
I love y'all.
Even though some of y'all are pedophiles that he openly hangs out with. Of course it's on YouTube, kids. How dare people be able to leave a comment and criticize my dumb shit behavior?
When I make videos about Damien Zach the Celtics guy, or anybody of Damien's friends, it's not just for me, okay?
Right, let's hear the virtue signaling.
It's for the people who've been victimized, vilified, and character assassinated. People like Dustin Nunn or
Dustin Nunn was not character assassinated or vilified or victimized. No one broke into Dustin's house or beat him up or did anything that would ruin his life. In fact, it's the homophobic shit that he says that would most likely do damage to his reputation. People are allowed to make fun of him and criticize him and mock him because he openly feeds into it and allows it to happen when everyone and their fucking mother has said, take a break and walk away and it'll die down if not completely go away. No one that's ever talked to him in a comedic or sarcastic way has ever tried to legitimately ruin his life or harm him in any way. No one has ever tried to swat him or do anything to him that would result in him getting hurt. Making fun of him on the fucking internet is not the same thing as breaking into his house and beating him senseless. Vilified? He vilifies himself with his ignorant views on the gay community and his ignorant views on abortion and things like that, where he openly suggests that the abortionist that is worse than the person who raped the person that ended up getting them pregnant. That the person should be made to carry a child that they did not want, that was forced upon them by a rape to term. And then they have to fucking live with looking at the product of their rape in the face every day until that child's an adult. And that child's gonna feel unloved because the mother doesn't know how to fucking feel about the child that was forced upon them through a rape. Don't even get me started about his dumb fuck beliefs. He's allowed to have them. But the fact that people are allowed to criticize him because a lot of his beliefs are, it shouldn't be because it shouldn't be because it shouldn't be because it shouldn't be. Okay, well, why shouldn't it be? Because it shouldn't be because it shouldn't be because the Bible. This is the mindset of a dumb fucking person.
monotypical.
Leave Violet out of this. They've openly said to shut the fuck up and keep them out of things. I'm surprised this person hasn't just popped up and told you to shut the fuck up again because you keep dragging them into shit that they have not been involved in just to try to virtue signal like you think you're saving the fucking day. Who are you, Captain Spurg? Do you think you're dressing up in a retarded costume running around fighting for justice? No. You're bitching about stupid shit because you feel like by doing so you're somehow standing up for people who really couldn't care less or people who really do deserve to get made fun of and ridiculed.
Or Sophie LaBelle or any.
Sophie LaBelle is a grown woman that was fucking a kid. It was legitimately a grown woman preying upon a fucking child. Like, I do not want to hear a fucking thing about whether or not it should be okay because this was a legitimate situation of a woman taking advantage of a fucking kid. And it doesn't matter if the kid liked it or not in this particular situation, or any situation like that for that matter, if you want me to be entirely honest. Because this person was not legally old enough to consent, regardless of whether or not they say yes, that doesn't matter. The law has a very particular thing about saying no. So even if the kid does consent to it, the fact that the other person's an adult and knows better should be immediately enough for the law to be able to say, fuck that, and put their foot down. Of course, this is coming from the motherfucker on my screen right now who openly associates with pedophiles, so I can't help but wonder if there's something he's not telling the rest of the class.
Anybody. This is my way of avenging y'all.
Avenging y'all, because apparently they were like fucking killed. He thinks he's like fucking Batman, avenging his parents who were killed in that alley during that mugging gone bad. What, you think you're like fucking Batman killing Joe Chill for murdering his parents? This isn't avenging anyone. This is basically just you using sick fucks or people that don't give a shit about the situation or just plain idiotic religious zealots as a way to strike back at people who've criticized you and admonished you. That's really all it seems like. It just seems like it's a lame fucking excuse to try to say, well, I'm not accountable for anything I do. It's always the fault of other people for telling me to shut the fuck up. That's legitimately what it feels like. It just feels like you're trying to use any excuse that you fucking can. To just say, well, I'm fighting for all these people, even though these people either don't give a shit or deserve it to some extent.
And the thing is, it's just, we need to stand up to Damien and say, we're not going to take it.
Yeah, we're not gonna take being told to not lie about people and to not molest children, and then it's not alright to harass gay people, and then it's not alright to fucking harass people and act like a fucking lunatic. I mean, dude, you have literally surrounded yourself with a crazy religious fundamentalist homophobe, a crazy white supremacist child who associates with pedophiles on the regular, an admitted fucking pedophile, and almost every other fucking terrible thing in between that because you were mad at Damien and other people that associate with him. I just want you to realize that. Like, all you've done is associate with people that a lot of people, regardless of where they stand, would unilaterally fucking hate. And yet you're sitting there completely oblivious to that, or completely fine with it. Maybe because there's something that you're not admitting to the rest of us. Seriously, Mitch, I want to know. There are two questions I really want you to answer, and I want you to answer them honestly. One, why should pornography be used in sex education? Like, tell me what exactly holds your opinion up. What exactly gives your opinion some real weight to actually even be considered an opinion by anyone other than yourself? And two, is the reason that you're okay with associating with a pedophile who would and another pedophile? I mean, you associate with Cranium, who admits to being a pedophile, who's openly been caught emailing people death threats for weeks. You get caught associating with Ronnie, who associates with Luke, like Jackson, aka Andrew, whoever the fuck his last name is, who's openly admitted that he would molest a child just to hurt the child. You associate with Dustin, who's a psychotic religious fundamentalist homophobe, despite the fact that you yourself don't have any issues against the gay community, so that kind of flies in the face of what you've said before. But tell me, is the reason you associate with pedophiles and white supremacists and religious zealots and homophobes because you yourself might be a pedophilic white supremacist, like, neo-Nazi homophobe? I mean, I really want to know. Is that, like, really the issue at its core? Is that what's really going on? And I'm not asking because I'm trying to start shit. I really want to know the answer to that question.
Okay? So, for my people who are my friends and the people
They're not even your friends. They just use you as a fucking mouthpiece for the retarded shit they're gonna say. You're basically the Jonathan Ross of this little group of this little group of fuckheads that we found on the internet.
who subscribe to me,
People only subscribe to you because you're a fucking lolcow and it's easy as shit to clown on you because you're just a dumb human being through and through.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you. I'm sure you do. You don't know if any of these people are legitimately good people at their core. You just circle jerk them because they say things that you like about people you don't like, and you're willing to tie yourself to these people regardless of the potential consequences to you. Yeah, nothing says totally desperate for attention and notoriety like sucking the dick of every fucking person who even remotely criticizes your critics. Or just goes out of their way to spurg out at them like fucking Braylon and Ronnie do. Because let's face it, neither one of them are intelligent enough to actually sit down and debunk someone's argument. They sit down and just bitch and scream and try and say stupid shit for attention. Probably because mom and dad didn't beat them enough. Maybe if Ronnie got abused physically as a kid, he'd probably learn not to run his fucking mouth so much. Same thing with Brainley. I think that if his father had learned to throw him down the stairs a couple times harder, he'd probably learn.
And just remember, you are not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone. It's like the fucking suicide hotline of internet retards. You're not alone. Whenever things go wrong for you, you can immediately tell Mitchell. He'll get on his knees and start sucking you off to make you feel better, because he's basically the equivalent of an internet lolcow fleshlight. That really might as well be what you're called. You're basically just an internet fleshlight for these people because they use you whenever they can't get enough bullshit satisfaction from the stupid shit they do on their own. That's really all you are. none of these people give a fuck about who you are as a person. They just see you as a way to be able to talk shit about people without having to deal with consequence. That's really all it means to them from start to finish, and it's kind of sad that you don't know that, or you are aware of it but just refuse to acknowledge it. Like I'm just saying,